What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. This is episode number 16, and we are your hosts, Jan and Malcolm. Bro, we're back after a triple header weekend, just a 1 week break, and we are back with a brand new episode. How are you, bro?
I'm alright, bro. Thank you very much. Listen, for me, I needed that 1 week break.
Yeah, same here.
I'm gonna be honest. I needed after that triple header, which was a great triple header, by the way.
Yeah,
Unexpected results and such, but it was good. It was refreshing to get that 1 week off, and now we're back at it. But other than that, I'm alright, bro. How are you doing?
yeah, I'm good. Obviously, right here in Malta, and just with everything in the country at the moment, it is screeching hot. It is scorching hot at the moment.
Very.
We've had a couple these past 10 days were like high 30 temperatures. There were a lot of power cuts as well in our country as well.
Here, here.
So fingers crossed nothing happens. Nothing happens right now, guys, with regards to that. But other
Hopefully.
than that, I'm okay. As you said, Malcolm, I needed that 1 week break as well because listen, a triple heading weekend it was quite.
Yeah, but we got a double header now.
And now we got
With
a double header.
yesterday, and now
Yeah.
the next race upcoming this week.
Spa-Francorchamps. That would be the last race before a 3 week break.
Yeah,
for
the spring,
for
the
summer
summer break.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, guys. Before we begin today's episode, make sure to follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Hit us up with a rating and let us know your thoughts with each of the questions we post on our post.
Always,
And
always.
without further ado, let us begin today's episode. We have the Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest to talk about. But before we get into that, the main meat of the episode, more news, more driver transfer news, bro. Continuing to shake the paddock. We've been having we've had Oliver Behrman last time around heading to Haas, and now we have more news with Haas, and this time we have with Kevin Magnussen because we were discussing. I mean, before we start this episode, we were debating if Kevin Magnussen would be staying with Haas or not, and the answer is he won't be staying at Haas because just this week, the past week, it's been announced that Kevin Magnussen will not be extending his contract with Haas, and he will be leaving at the end of the season. Now, apparently, this comes from according to Ayo Kamatsu. This was a team decision, not according to Kevin Magnussen, and with that. I'll start with you, bro. A bit of a surprise, considering how Haas have been performing this season. They've been having a fantastic season so far. Haas, I mean, mostly it came from Nico Hülkenberg, but with Kevin Magnussen, I think me and you, we were both expecting that he may have had another season. But are you surprised with this decision? Yes or no?
To be honest, bro, yes, I am very surprised with the decision because, yes, even though, just like you said, Nico Hülkenberg has been the better driver so far this season, better than Kevin Magnussen, I did expect Kevin Magnussen to at least stay another year. I did not expect them to release Kevin Magnussen as well as Nico Hülkenberg deciding to join Alfa Romeo. No, sorry, already joined Sauber for next season. So they're going into next season, which is all but just practically confirmed with the all new fresh lineup.
Yeah.
Oliver Behrman and of course the driver that's now going to replace Kevin Magnussen. But yes, to be honest, I am very surprised. I did not expect it. I don't know how. Maybe is it because they want to start with a new clean slate? Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe is it because them Toyota talks are coming in at the moment?
Yeah, it might be.
Because them Toyota rumors that Haas might partner up with Toyota making a return back to Formula One, might spark some. The rumors are increasing on that, so they might go with a completely new lineup. On that regards, we don't know. But overall, I am surprised that they're going to release Kevin Magnussen, and we'll see who's going to replace him now.
Yeah, and apparently it's Esteban Ocon who's looking like the favorite to replace him. And all I can say about that is good luck to Oliver Behrman and good luck to Ayo Kamatsu because we know that Esteban Ocon is not a team player. He has destroyed pretty much every single team he has been, including his current team at Alpine with Pierre Gasly. Obviously, with regards to
three teammates, 3 victims so far, 3 victims. Gasly,
Behrman,
Alonso, and Sergio Perez.
And Oliver Behrman, poor kid, might be the next victim. And listen, Oliver Behrman, our rookie one of the rookies next season in Formula 1. Probably, I think he's going to be, so far, he's the only rookie coming in next season, Oliver Behrman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Yeah, he is.
He might be the only rookie, but
Unless Mercedes opt for Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, obviously Kimi Antonelli is a subject of the, is a subject to confirm still. Yeah. With regards to Kevin Magnussen, I am a little bit surprised, but at the same time, I'm not, because at the moment Haas, it's Hulkenberg who's pretty much carrying the team, but at the same time, Haas are losing two experienced drivers pretty much,
Very.
and two very experienced drivers within the sport. Both Hulkenberg and Magnussen, they've been in the sport for a very very long time. So a ballsy move for Ayo Kamatsu. It's his first season, obviously, with Haas, and let's see how this move is going to turn out next season. Obviously, Oliver Behrman's confirmed, but and if Esteban Ocon is going to be announced, I am not sure about the decision, to be honest.
I don't agree with it, to be honest.
Not-
I don't
not
agree
same
with
here.
it.
I
I
won't-
really do not agree.
Not same here.
Esteban Ocon. What has Esteban Ocon? Listen, in reality, if we're gonna really think about it, if Esteban Ocon gets released from Alpine but goes to Haas, and Haas at the moment is a better car than the Alpine, to me that seems like an upgrade to
It
him.
seems to be an upgrade, but listen, yes, he's won a race. He's got maybe a few podiums in and there, but listen, for me, I would have given a place to one of the rookie drivers next season to go for an even ballsy move. But
You go with two rookies? You go with two rookies?
I would have because Ocon
For a team that's trying to survive, I don't think that's the right choice, bro. I'm gonna be
Ocon
honest.
is going to damage that Haas if I'm being honest, because we've seen his.
I believe the same as well.
We know how his attitude is, and yeah, all I can say is poor Oliver Behrman and poor Ayo Kamatsu. Because he is not, again, as I said before, Esteban Ocon is not a team player. He is going to destroy that team. I hope I'm wrong. And I fear a bit for Haas, because Haas at the moment they're on the trajectory at the moment. They're having a fantastic
Yeah.
season. I mean, they're outscoring.
Slowly but surely going about their business,
They're
bro.
sorry about their business. And listen, for Ao Kamatsu, as I wrap up on this point, it's a very ballsy move for him. Listen, and removing a driver like Kevin Magnussen, it's a very very difficult decision to take, because this is his second spell with Haas, his second season coming back, and he's out of the door pretty much. So I
Yeah.
can understand that this has been a really difficult decision to make, but for Haas, a fresh start next season. And if Ocon is going to be announced as a new driver, it will definitely be either this week or the after, before the summer break begins, basically. But and that pretty much, there are many seats left, bro. And all I can say is, I fear for Carlos Sainz, man. I really, really do fear for Carlos Sainz, because
There is an option for Sainz. I believe there is an option for Sainz, but one piece has to go. But even if that piece goes, I don't think that particular team will still opt for Sainz. Not because he's a bad driver.
No.
Not because he's a bad driver, but because of his previous history with a certain driver that's within that team already.
Yeah, and all I can see, because listen, I think the most, if again, as much as I really disagree with the move, Williams looks like a possibility that he could be replacing Logan Sargent.
And in terms of destination, in terms of being reasonable, Williams is the most makes more sense.
Because it's either
Makes the most
it's either-
sense.
there are-
Funnily enough.
there are either three options, because there are either three options. It's either the Williams, he replaces Logan, because Logan Sargent, as much as listen, as I'm gonna be completely honest on Logan Sargent. I can't see him getting a seat next season. He's been consistently out of the points. He's just not improving at the moment. So I can't.
Guess he's always out qualifying Sergio Perez.
He's always been he's been out qualified. And speaking of Sergio Perez, Red Bull might be a possibility, because listen, Sergio Perez once again, okay, he's got himself into the points this weekend, but he's just on a downward trajectory at the moment, Sergio Perez. So
Same what happened with this race.
And if he's gonna continue at this rate, they're gonna kick him out of the door. Absolutely. No, I don't care if
All but sure at this point.
The contract extension is meaningless at this point, because he's just literally on a downward spiral. So it could be Williams, it could be Red Bull replacing Sergio Perez, but then again,
Or Mercedes.
no. I think
Mercedes is still open.
I think Kimi Antonelli is going to Mercedes, man. It looks certain that they're going to be choosing Antonelli because he's still quite young at this age.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose if they really rate Kimi Antonelli. Let's not forget they apparently had Max Verstappen in their ranks once upon a time, and they let him go to Red Bull.
Honestly, see George Russell and Carlos Sainz in the same team.
Listen, I've seen. Listen, I mean, we've seen Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in the same team. How can I not see Carlos Sainz and George Russell?
George Russell's a diva, though. Let's be honest.
George Russell a diva. Have you seen Lewis Hamilton, bro?
Yeah, but he's maybe less.
And Lewis Hamilton is joining Ferrari next season. What are you on about, bro?
But
George Russell a diva? Nah, I don't agree with you, bro. Nah.
He's not.
No.
He's not as bad as Hamilton and Max as
well.
What? This weekend, but for the right reasons he was a diva. But
no, I can agree with that. But nah, George Russell a diva? Nah. I don't agree, bro.
But anyhow, no, I'm very worried for Carlos Sainz because if he stays in Formula One, he's going to be probably in a mid-table or lower end team. That's going to be my prediction. Because
I think. Listen, what we can say on this matter, bro, is wherever Carlos Sainz ends up, what we know for sure is he's going to be an asset to any team he goes to.
Yeah, he will be definitely, but
he will be an asset. Where he's going to go, we have no idea. There are seats that are still up for grabs. But what we know for sure is that he's going to be an asset, no doubt.
Obviously, his best move would be with Red Bull, but I can't really, unless something dramatic happens with Sergio Perez.
I don't think, bro. I don't think he'll go to Red Bull. I believe Red Bull want him. But because of of Carlos Sainz's and Max Verstappen's previous history together at Toro Rosso, they might be a bit too reluctant on that, and it's understandably so.
It's a very difficult move. It's a very difficult move to exit.
If they put Sainz in their Red Bull next to Verstappen, to me, if I was Verstappen, knowing that I have bad history with Sainz, I would opt to go to Mercedes. There, I said it.
Who knows? Maybe
there, I said it. And listen, at the moment, Mercedes are not that far off Red Bull.
No, I mean right now they're in a surge in form and a big surge in form. May I add as well. So yeah, who knows? It might be. Listen, our predictions might be spot on.
Or we might go way off the grid.
They might be way off the grid. Who knows? But let's hope. Listen, let's hope for the best for Haas. Whoever comes in, he's going to be backed by the team, obviously, if it's Esteban Ocon or any other driver, and the same goes for Carlos Sainz and any other driver who their future is still undecided, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the meat of the episode, bro. The Budapest Grand Prix in Hungary, or the Hungarian Grand Prix, however you want to call it. Bro, this track, we've seen plenty of drama over the years. The one race I remember back in 2007 with Alonso and Hamilton, what happened in qualifying.
That pit stop brigade, or what was it?
That was in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken.
That was in quali?
Yeah, that was in quali. Yeah.
Weird. I thought it was a race. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know.
But
I don't know. I don't remember.
Your thoughts on the track, bro? Somewhere in the middle for me as well.
To be honest, same as well. It can be a dramatic race. I mean, yesterday wasn't the most of dramatic. It wasn't the most boring of races. It was somewhere in the middle. But as a track, it's not my most preferred. I'm gonna be honest. Listen, it's not the worst. But I can live without it.
I disagree with you the fact it wasn't dramatic, bro, because both the qualifying, especially qualifying, and in the second half of the race, there was quite a lot of chaos going on, especially with the pit stops and even
more to do with the race, though. I mean, quali wasn't that dramatic, no.
No, we've had 2 red flags.
Oh yeah,
Q1 and Q3. There was also some rain as well towards the end of Q3. There was a lot going on, bro. And we've had some big shocks as well in Q1. and even in Q3, in Q1 as
Yeah.
well, and in
I
Q1.
mean, yeah, especially Q1 with a particular driver. The other driver, not so much of a shock.
No, I mean at this point, yeah, but
But I think, but listen, but because there were shocks, unexpected, but I think
no, yeah,
it was raining. It was raining as well,
not so
so
much though. It was quite light. The rain was
the
very
rain was
light
nice,
rain.
but it wasn't even for enters. It was they use softs. Listen, bro, they use softs even in the rain as well. So it was kind of tricky because of course the track is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. I mean, so it was kind of
Yeah, sorry about that.
the track was getting what you call it. How am I going to call it? What's the word for it? Getting colder, cold temperatures. That's the word
Yeah, colder temperatures,
because of the rain.
and my mic once again gave up. Sorry about that, guys.
So as I was saying,
Yeah,
the track temperature was getting colder. So
yeah.
because of the rain, and they opted for the softs. They could go on the softs. They didn't even risk to go on the inters.
No, no, no. I agree.
So it was kind of tricky. It was a very tricky session, especially in first quali.
Yeah, listen, this is on the same this on the same aspect as Silverstone, even in Spa. I mean, this weekend's race is going to be even tougher with regards to weather conditions. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Hungary is one of those tracks where we have to you have to
And
the
you know what?
wildcard
And
is
you know
very
what the
key.
funny thing is? And you know what the funny thing
Yeah,
is? The funny thing is, the rain wasn't even expected this weekend in
no,
Budapest.
it wasn't the worst though. It was quite light though.
No, it was nice, but it wasn't expected. Still,
Yeah,
it wasn't expected. So that makes it even funnier.
yeah, definitely. All right, so as usual, guys, we get into qualifying first, and then we head into the races. Practice. I mean, we've had a couple of crashes in practice. Zhou Guan Yu being one of them as well. Even Charles,
Um,
even
yeah,
Leclerc
even
had
Charles Leclerc, sure. Yeah,
even
bro.
Leclerc
Even
had a
Charles
little bit
Leclerc.
had a little bit of a scare as well. But we get into qualifying now. In qualifying, it had to be red flagged because surprise, surprise, once again the man of the hour Sergio Perez crashed, completely his own fault once again, and this session had to be red flagged, and that's the second consecutive qualifying in a row because he also crashed in Silverstone. That he basically crashed his car, bro. This guy. I said it last week, and I'm gonna say it again. He is on free fall at the moment, Sergio Perez,
Absolutely, absolutely. And listen, you know what the thing is? Yeah,
digging his own grave. He is.
yeah, this what saddens me because of the
Yeah,
crash. It was his fault, completely his fault. But at the moment, how it was
yeah.
with, pardon me, with how the track was, the conditions, all of that. The drivers were very, very limited for grip.
Yeah, they were.
Very limited for grip. So all they had to do was hope and pray that they throw the car into the corners and the car doesn't give out. Russell almost had a. Who was it? Was it Russell? Was it Russell, I
I
believe?
believe it was Russell. Yeah,
In the same corner that Perez crashed.
I believe it was Russell.
Was it
Yeah,
Russell?
yeah, 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 yeah. I think
Russell
so.
gave up and went off track and went just off track. Perez, on the other hand, went through the car into the corner, but his car gave out and went straight slamming into the barrier.
Yeah, straight away.
So I think it was his fault, but at the same time it was unlucky because he had to be on the limit to get that quality lap in.
And
And because he didn't get that quality lap in, because he wasn't the fastest, he got knocked out of
he
Q1
was actually
again.
before his crash, he actually set the ninth fastest
He
time.
was
But then
Yeah, he was
obviously
on P8, P9.
he was like in P9. But then obviously the session restarted, and then everyone basically was saying up better lap times. And
When the session was red flagged, that's when the most rain was coming down.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Funnily enough,
unfortunately
again.
for some teams, some drivers and even some teams specifically, we're getting into Alpine now. They've pretty much they gambled, and they basically remained at the pits for the rest of the session. And that unfortunately with Alpine that backfired spectacularly because
I
Alpine
was absolutely.
they stopped their lap times, and after the session was restarted, both cars remained in the pits, and it's not much of a surprise that both Alpines were the slowest cars on the grid, 20 and 19th, Gasly in 20th, and Esteban Ocon in 19th. But terrible decision for the team basically, and
Yeah.
that's on the team basically. Responsible that they have to show the responsibility for that decision. and it really really backfired as a result. Zhou Guan Yu in 18th again, no surprises. We expect that Sauber is pretty much expected where it is at the moment. The big surprise though was George Russell in 17th. Now George Russell again, he did the same mistake as the Alpines. He went into the pits very very early. He thought that his lap time was enough to get into Q2, but what happened was that every single car was lapping faster than him, and he ended up getting knocked out in 17th. And George straight away apologized. It was his decision that he went into the pits. He thought that was enough for him to get into the second round of qualifying, and yeah, that's on him
Didn't
unfortunately.
didn't he blame the team for underfueling the car though, if I'm not mistaken?
That was one of the decisions as well. But to get into the pits, that was his decision, and he apologized straight
Fair
away,
enough.
basically. But I think the fuel of the car being under fuel, that also happens to be one of the reasons why he had to he got knocked out of the first round of qualifying. But yeah, an error for him. Obviously, at Mercedes at the moment, it's on the
Yeah.
trajectory and not where George wants to start. Basically, that's probably the biggest shock of the entire session because okay, Sergio Perez is a shock, but considering how his form is at the moment, shocking. So
Yeah.
and obviously, speaking of Sergio Perez, qualified 16th because of his crash. He was in line, but obviously then every single car was lapping faster than him and ended up getting knocked out in 16th. Bro, your thoughts on Russell getting knocked out in the first round and even Sergio
Unfortunate, bro.
Perez?
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed.
Yeah,
Very unfortunate indeed for George Russell. Unexpected to say the least.
yeah,
Sergio Perez, I genuinely thought that Sergio Perez might just squeeze into Q2,
yeah.
even after the crash. But it wasn't enough, and even more misery for
Yeah,
Sergio Perez.
yeah, even more misery, man. He's just at the moment, this guy, he's just digging his own grave. I mean, it's getting really really bad for Checo, and again, that contract extension news has backfired spectacularly. More like a curse at this stage. I mean, and listen, this guy. I mean, we're gonna get to him very later on. I mean, he got himself in the points, fair enough, but I mean, this guy, he's single-handedly opening up a potential there's pretty much a race at the constructors championship at the moment. It's pretty much
Thanks to
wide.
him.
Thanks to him, it's pretty much wide open. And
Thanks to him, because if he was constantly scoring points like Verstappen, I think they'd be well off in first place, Red Bull.
yeah, definitely, I 100% agree.
Even with Ferrari scoring constantly, McLaren
Yeah,
especially, and Mercedes as well.
yeah,
But if Verstappen and Perez were in the same, like, let's say, bracket of sorts in
yeah,
terms of positions,
yeah, yeah.
but that's not the case. Well, listen, we thank him still. We thank Perez because thanks to him, we're having a great
No, no,
season,
no.
better
Yeah,
than we
yeah.
anticipated.
It's,
So
it's not all
listen.
bad. It's not all bad at least. It's not all
So,
bad.
and he's one of the reasons, and he's one of the reasons actually.
Yeah, he
So
is.
thank you, Sergio.
One of the main reasons actually. But
What a guy, sacrificing himself to be one of the reasons that we're having a great season. What a guy, man.
taking it one for the fans basically, and for everyone else.
What
Yeah,
what
yeah.
what a
No,
guy, bro.
he
What a guy.
he. I mean, we need to give this guy like an honorary award at the end of the season for the most sportsmanship
Absolutely.
award. I mean, he deserves it because yeah,
He deserves to be knighted on that.
yeah. Sir Checo Perez. Make that happen, people. Let's make that happen.
Please, please,
Let's make that
please.
happen.
He deserves
Um,
it.
bro, with regards to which yeah, he deserves it. Um, bro, with regards to Q2, not many surprises because I think it's pretty much the teams that got knocked out pretty much expected. Um, the two Hasses, Kevin Magnussen in 15th and Nico Hulkenberg in 11th, losing out by just a hundredth of a second to get into Q3. The two Williams, Logan Sargent, Alex Albin. Again, Logan Sargent, another Q2 appearance for him. Better than
Beating Sergio Perez again.
beating Sergio Perez again. Wow, that must be so embarrassing for Checo to be qualified
That's
by Logan
crazy, bro.
Sargent.
That's crazy.
Alex Albin in 13th. Valtteri Bottas in 12th with that Sauber. 12th place is
Pretty
far
pretty solid. Pretty solid, I'd say.
pretty solid. And Nico Hülkenberg in 11th, as I said, with that Haas missing out with just a hundredth of a second. Q3. Oh, sorry, bro. I don't know if you have any thoughts with regards to going knocked out in Q2. Not much of a surprise, right?
No, no actual surprises.
Not much of a surprise.
Solid from Bottas. That's all I
Yeah,
have to say. Really,
yeah. I mean,
pretty
with
solid from Valtteri.
pretty expected with Williams and Haas where they are. I mean, again,
Yeah,
Hulkenberg, he must be a little bit disappointed that he hasn't made himself that he hasn't made it in Q3 because he's been appearing in Q3 for a number of Grand Prix weekends this season. But yeah,
yeah,
it is what it is, I guess. Um,
yeah.
the two racing boys, Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo in 9th and 10th. For Yuki Tsunoda, nice to see him back into Q3. But for Danny Rick, this would mean more for him because he outqualified his teammate, a rare occasion for him. And secondly, needed he really needed to get into Q3, and this really helped him, that Danny Rick, with that.
Much needed.
Um, Speaking of well needed, the two Aston Martins, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso in 8 and 7. The first time we're seeing two Aston Martins in Q3 for a very long time. So this is a definitely a plus for them. Um, Leclerc in sixth, followed by Hamilton in fifth, and Carlos Sainz in fourth. Your thoughts on Ferrari,
Uh,
bro?
I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty happy. We're not. Listen. In my opinion, we're the fourth best team on the grid now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I
That's my
agree.
honest opinion. I agree. Listen, in my belief, I believe we're out of the title race for both
No,
drivers.
definitely, I agree with that.
We're out of it, absolutely. In terms of constructors, I think our aim now this season is second or third.
Yeah,
I
I
believe.
think the constructor this as we go back to Sergio Perez as well. He's opening up. He's opening the door for a lot of teams, like Ferrari, for example, to have a shot at the constructors. And listen, Ferrari, as much as they're still behind McLaren and Red Bull, they're catching up. So listen, for now to get both drivers in the top 10 is key for them. They might not be winning races because their car is not on the same edge as the top teams, but yeah,
But apparently, this race week, Ferrari had a bit of a mini upgrade.
yeah, they did.
And that mini upgrade did pay some dividends, both in the
Yeah,
quality and in the race, and it was much needed, especially to a particular driver, which we're gonna get to later on.
they turned in the race. Yeah, exactly. As for
But
yeah,
honestly, of course, I would prefer absolutely to be in the top four, top three for both drivers. But with what we have at the moment, can't
yeah,
really complain, to be
yeah,
honest.
and sandwiched in
Sorry.
between, obviously, was Lewis Hamilton. Now, Lewis Hamilton, he was very close to getting knocked out of Q2. I mean,
Yeah.
he can he has to thank the racing gods because he was very close to getting knocked out of Q2. But to get from there to a fifth place, it's really super stuff for Lewis Hamilton. Um, now the top three, sorry. Max Verstappen in third, followed by the two McLarens in first and second, with Lando Norris in pole and Oscar Piastri in second. Now, what happened with that was that um, Max Verstappen set the fastest time, but then the two McLarens basically got an even faster lap time. And once Verstappen was about to make the fastest lap, Yuki Tsunoda crashed, and the session had to be red flagged. So we have to thank we have to thank Yuki Tsunoda for that because the session was red flagged like 2 minutes before the end of the session, and it happened when rain was starting to hit the track, basically when light rain was starting to hit the track. Now for that, the team, Lando and Oscar, we've handled that perfectly because after that it was just 1 minute, less than 1 minute to make a lap. Some drivers didn't
No
even
time to warm
crash
up the
across the line
tires.
before no time to warm up the tires. So that's a 1-2 for McLaren
No warm to
and
warm up.
Max
Tires
Verstappen
go
in
on the
third.
track, so
Fantastic. Yeah.
and
Your thoughts,
listen,
bro,
it was
before I
fully
get into mine.
deserved because the 1-2 for McLaren has been fully deserved this weekend, bro. You've
Yeah.
been the fastest car all weekend long, from practice to the quali to the race. So
Yeah.
to me, it wasn't really a surprise that you got a 1-2 because you
No,
were the
no.
fastest.
And listen, we're having listen as if people had doubts that we could that if people had some doubts that we could challenge Red Bull, we've got the answer now because once again that car, I don't know, again that car at the moment we are on form, on performance wise, we're the best car on the grid. I mean, even with and even I'm saying that we're better than Red Bull at the moment because Sergio Perez again we're saying that Perez at the moment he's not at his best.
I tend to
It's just
agree. I
Verstappen.
tend to agree.
We're the team to beat at the moment. We're consistently in the top. We're getting into the top three, if it's with one car or with both cars, or not with both cars in the top five, and again that 1-2 fully deserved because we maximized our tires, we maximized our performance to a T, and that was well needed because again we haven't had a front row start in ages in qualifying. I don't know when was the last time we've had a we've had a front row start, not just in Hungary but in every Grand Prix in general.
Front row
So
start. I seen it somewhere. I did see it somewhere. I believe it was
yeah,
Hungary as well back in 2011 or 12.
back in somewhere
Cause I
like
did see it somewhere.
yeah,
Cause I'm
exactly,
sure I seen it somewhere.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but
Was it? Was it? But it was somewhere around the time 2011, 2012. I might look it up right now
yeah,
if I
yeah,
could.
yeah,
Actually, let me
definitely,
check.
definitely, um, but what a I mean, again, what a difference a year makes. I mean, which where in the past, like we used to celebrate that we got like a third place, we finished third in qualifying. Now to get into pole and a second place. What a run we are at the moment, man. I mean, absolutely
Absolutely.
sensational at the moment. I mean, Andrea Stella and the team and Zach Brown and so forth. We are on the trajectory. I mean, we have a mega quick car, and we're showing it in both the qualifying and now we come into the race. Now, anything to add, bro, before we get into the race?
Nothing. None really.
Not really, no.
Nothing really to add, bro.
No, bro, as we get into the race now, 70 laps, a pretty, so a long track, a 1 minute 15 would do with regards to this track. And if we look at the start, a pretty chaotic start because Lando squeezed Piastri right at the start, which pretty much paves the opportunity for Max to make an underpass. But then Max pretty much cut a part of the track and he had to give the place back. What do you think, bro, about this?
Now look, honestly, I did not expect Lando to do what he did.
No, not
Like,
even me.
but why are you out here cutting your teammate? Why was he trying to cut off his teammate?
And we were
That
close
was
for.
absolutely needed. And what happened then? It allowed Max Verstappen to enter the fray. Yes, then afterwards he cut I mean, he went off track and gained an advantage. Fair enough, but that still opened the door for Max Verstappen. That
Yeah.
was absolutely needed from Lando Norris. I did not expect him to do that on his teammate.
No,
Absolutely.
and with
And
Max,
listen,
yeah.
and listen, but listen, thanks to Norris's mistake, Piastri benefited the most. Because just by the end of lap one, he's about 2.5, 2.8 seconds ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, Oscar Piastri, he's only led up prior to this race 7 laps the most. Obviously
Yeah,
he's won a sprint race in the past, but with Oscar Piastri, fantastic start, and he was comfortably in the lead for a large part of the race. Now, what happened with Max was at the start, he basically had to cut off he had to cut off a part of the track. And by lap 3 or lap 4, he had to give the place back to Lando Norris. And with his,
yeah, I agree with it too. Listen, if he went off track and gained an advantage, I mean that's the most sensible thing to do.
and he was quite reluctant to give the place back at first
Yeah,
because
because Verstappen felt that he got pushed off the track, that he had the advantage going into turn one.
yeah,
And he got pushed off and he felt that he didn't want to give the place back. But listen, if even Red Bull, if even your own team are telling you, bro, give the place back,
they have to give the
then
place
you
back.
then you then you know as a driver, you know you're in the wrong.
And obviously, Max was under investigation. Obviously, once he gave the place back, there was no further action needed because if he
Yeah.
hadn't if he hadn't given the place back, he would have easily got himself like
A time penalty.
a time penalty. Absolutely, he would have got a time.
Easily.
He would have got a time penalty. But after that, bro, not much happened. I mean, we did see a couple of overtakes at the lower end of the grid, but right until right around lap 17 to right around lap 20, not much happened because right around during those laps
That was the first set of pit stops.
we did see the first set of pit stops, and that started to change the race a bit because now Max was already beginning to get was showing signs of frustration. That Red Bull wasn't the quickest car all weekend. It was a McLaren, and after the pit stop, Max was stuck behind Hamilton, and
Yeah.
for a large part of the race. You want to add anything?
He couldn't even overtake him. And he couldn't even overtake him. Basically, what Hamilton was doing to Verstappen is what Alonso did to Hamilton back in 2021.
And even
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did remember that. And listen, there was also shades of Schumacher there for Hamilton because
Yeah,
Schumacher,
absolutely.
Schumacher used to block drivers. I mean, back in the day. So I mean, was Hamilton
Yeah,
taking
I mean,
one for the team with McLaren?
Hungary.
But,
Nah, listen,
Yeah.
because Hungary is it's not the easiest place to overtake. Barring
No,
the
it isn't.
start-finish straight and the second DRS zone, which
Yeah.
is not even that easy. Other than that, if you don't overtake on the start-finish straight, and maybe in the second DRS zone,
Yeah.
going into turn 2, is
Yeah.
it turn 2? Turn 1, turn 2, exactly. Turn 2, you don't have much room to overtake, really.
Yeah, I agree.
So he was defending well, but couldn't do much. Verstappen couldn't do much
Yeah,
neither.
he couldn't. But Max was beginning to. Max was then she was so frustrated that he basically he entered into a diva mode, and we haven't seen Max this frustrated in the race. And listen, he was rightly so. He was frustrated because his team did fuck him up for most of the race. The strategies from Red Bull, I don't know, bro. I mean, the strategies from the team,
Listen,
they were a bit questionable with the customer.
they were. I mean, they didn't utilize the undercut correctly, whilst
No, they
drivers
didn't.
like Hamilton and Leclerc did utilize the undercut. And they did utilize the undercut, but Red Bull did not. But still, I think it was a bit too much from Max Verstappen's end.
He was being a bit
Are
too
we
aggressive,
seeing a
yeah.
Max Verstappen? Are we seeing a Max Verstappen that is a sore loser?
Because he isn't
Let's not
winning.
forget this dude is a 3-time world champion. He shouldn't act this way.
No, absolutely not.
Especially after saying that if he could retire, he could retire.
Yeah,
That's not a sign to me that you if you could retire, you could.
yeah,
Which is fine.
uh-huh.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Totally.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean you have to act like a total diva.
No, you can't.
And we're seeing Max Verstappen that's a complete loser. If he doesn't have the fastest car, he goes apeshit.
Because he's not winning. Listen, Max, he hasn't won a race now for like two, 3 races now. So he really wants to get a win back.
Here's a little fun fact.
Yeah.
Here's a little fun fact for you. I just saw this on Facebook. Max Verstappen hasn't won 3 state races in a row for the first time since 2021.
Yeah. That's crazy, yeah.
How about that for a fun fact?
Yeah.
That was his first title-winning season, by the way.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. And listen, that is a shade of the old rivalry of a couple of years ago with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And we saw some really interesting duels between the two because then Max for his second pit stop he ended up not only behind schedule, but he also ended up behind Leclerc as well, not just Hamilton, but also Leclerc and Sainz, and behind Charles Leclerc. And that is where he absolutely lost it within the team. And
Gentle introduction.
Some gentle introduction that was, yeah. And he was so frustrated that by the time he was close to Hamilton, he tried to make an overtake on turn 1, and he basically crashed.
Audacious, bro.
That was a mad move from Max.
Audacious, bro.
Because
what on earth was he thinking?
Because not only was that, listen, because what happened was that Max was behind Hamilton. He went for an overtake in turn one just after breezing past Joel Guanyu or Valtteri Bottas. He was backlapping that driver, and he tried to go for the overtake, and he basically they collided together between, and the
He
suspension
was
broke.
too, but he was too far behind.
He was too far behind. That was all his
That
fault.
move
And
was that move was never on for him.
no, and not only that, how the fuck is that car still in one piece as well? Because if that car, the way the way that would have, the suspension would have been gone there 100%. The way that car bounced after the impact.
Absolutely. Listen, that car is durable. Thank God.
So I was very surprised that car remained in one piece, and they didn't need to do a
The
pit
the
stop as
second the
well.
second I saw that car in the air, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, Max is out of the race. But he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Absolutely
He
wasn't.
wasn't.
And Max had the audacity to complain with that Hamilton was in fault in there, which in reality it was not.
Wow.
It was not his fault at all. It wasn't his
Even
fault at all.
even his engineer was calling him childish,
He was
bro.
called a child, which was insane, by the way. I mean, that was such an insane move for his engineer to say those words, basically. But yeah, that was pretty much race over for Max. It was a very frustrating weekend. He ended up finishing in fifth as a result. But going into the top half of the grid, the two McLarens were in first and second. But what happened was, and this is where the meaty stuff started to happen, and when it came to the team radios. Oh, sorry.
And this was don't worry, bro.
No.
And this is exactly listen. And it all kick-started after the second round of pit stops.
Because what happened was the team decided to pit Lando first and not Oscar Piastri, which should have been the other way around. They should have pitted Oscar first, and they did the other way around. So basically, they did the undercut on Lando Norris because Lando was leading the race, and within a few laps, within the last 10 laps, Lando was given instructions to give the place back to Oscar Piastri, and for me
Bro, they even told him to reestablish. Listen,
to
the team
reestablish the
told
order.
Norris to reestablish the order at his own leisure. But with the way Norris was driving, I felt McLaren was fearful that he was not going to give up the place.
Because he was like 6 seconds ahead.
So they were. That's the point, because they were fearful, and rightfully so. But they were fearful of their own doing, because
And
they didn't need to do that.
yeah, it turned out to be
They didn't need to do that.
that was so needless, and it turned out to be an awful strategic decision with the team. And listen, McLaren at the moment, they're having a lot of poor decisions at the moment with strategies. We blew a cup. We botted a couple of races in. I mean, Silver's last race was one of them, and even the race before that in Austria, and again, this was another poor decision from the team. But what happened instead is that we won the race. We got a 1-2 because listen, on paper, a first 1-2 is unbelievable. I mean,
Absolutely.
we haven't had a 1-2 finish since Monza back in 2021. So
2021.
in 2021, that was the last time we've had that McLaren scored a 1-2 finish. So you on paper, listen, that's 50 points for the not 50 points. I mean, that's a lot of that's like 45 points to the
That's a
team.
great coup.
That's
Yeah.
that's unbelievable points for us in the constructors and even for the drivers' championship. But at the same time, that that strategic decision overshadowed the win, in my opinion, because again, Oscar Piastri ended up winning the race because what happened was that Lando, like 3 laps before the end of the race, he was forced to give the place back to Oscar Piastri. So pretty much, Oscar was handed the win by his teammates. So obviously, Lando was a team
But
player,
it was
but
deserving, though.
at the end of
The
the
win was
day,
deserving.
it was a deserved win because Oscar was faster than Lando overall from the entire weekend. But if I'm being honest, it should have come to the drivers again. That decision shouldn't have come from the drivers. It should have come from the team. They should have, for next time, they should have pitted Lando first. So they should have pitted Oscar first and then Lando afterwards, because that
They should put.
swapping
Listen,
places in.
listen. If a team is gonna do the undercut,
Yeah.
if the team is gonna utilize the undercut, they need to put the driver that's in first place. That's before that is ahead of the driver behind him.
Yeah. Because they made.
But
Because
McLaren did it the other way around,
they did the other way around, yes, but
and it backfired. They put pressure on the drivers.
but at least there, because listen, if Lando stayed on top and won the race, there would have been a shit ton of problems with the team. There could have been a communication breakdown, a relationship breakdown with Lando Norris as well. Yeah.
Similar, let's not forget, with Vettel and Mark Webber back in 2013 Malaysia.
Yeah, I agree with
That infamous multi 21.
The Mark 21 incident in Malaysia. Yeah, exactly. So at least Lando was showed sportsmanship and gave the place back to Oscar and gave sportsmanship. And I say it in bunny ears because he was forced to give that decision to.
Listen, bro, if you're forced to give up a position, to me, you're not showing sportsmanship. You're not showing that you're a team player. That's my opinion.
No, exactly.
To show that you're a team player, in my opinion, it needs to come from within you, not to
Yeah.
be forced.
I agree. But listen, at least again, coming back to our point, at least we gave the place back and there wasn't any more drama because we end up winning the race. It was a 1-2. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, fantastic weekend for us. A 1-2 finish is superb. We've outscored Red Bull, and we've outscored pretty much every single team. And that for Oscar Piastri, that's his first win in his entire career. I'm obviously counting out the sprint race because this is actually a proper race win for him. And listen, Oscar deserves this. He's been consistent ever since he signed for the team, and it's bearing fruitful rewards. I mean, the win is fully deserved, and I'm very
And
happy
listen,
now.
bro, and listen, bro. He's the only driver on the grid that has completed all the laps this season.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually a fun stat. I mean, that's actually a really fun
He's
stat.
He's the only driver on the grid that has completed every lap so far this season.
Yeah.
Which to me, deserving of a win is an understatement.
Yeah.
Hats off to Piastri, bro. He absolutely deserves it.
And Oscar Piastri now is the 7th different winner of the season now, and I'm very happy as well that both drivers within my team have got a race win this season, and I think this won't be the last time we're going to see this because at the moment,
Same with Ferrari, same with Mercedes,
and same with Red Bull.
but not the same. Nope.
Oh no, with Verstappen, yeah, I just
Perez hasn't won a goddamn race yet this season.
and if he continues at this rate, he's not going to win any race. He's not going to win. Any race.
Nowhere near.
But, no, listen. As much as that strategic decision really made things needlessly stressful, I am very happy that we won a race. I mean, again, I didn't celebrate it as widely as some of my friends and my dad especially did, but at the end of the day, listen, a 1-2, nothing to argue about. That's an unbelievable result for the team, and I'm really pleased that there isn't any problems with relationships with both drivers because at the end of the race, Piastri and Norris, they were on good terms. The team were also on good terms. So I'm very happy that we got a first and second. Listen, for Lando Norris, most of his fans are not going to be pleased with it, and understandably so. But at the same time, he's still young. He's going to get another. I am positive that he's going to get another race win in the future. And even with this season, he's definitely going to get a race win in one way or another. But again, I'm happy. I'm happy that we won a race. I'm even more happy that we scored 1-2, and more of the same with Spa-Francorchamps this Sunday. I hope. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be happy about it.
Hoping for a good race. I love Spa-Francorchamps, so hoping for a good race. Hoping for a better Ferrari turnout for me.
Yeah, let's hope for that.
We'll
but
see.
With McLaren at the moment, we're on fire, man. That car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That car is
And
mega
listen,
quick.
and listen. Thank God, because you deserve it, bro. You're a big team at the end
Fully
of the day.
deserved. Fully deserved. I agree. I agree. Fully deserved.
I'd
Because
I'd much rather a McLaren win than a Red Bull wins.
yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Very very happy, man, because and we needed this because it's been such a long time since we've been scoring consistent podiums and wins, consistently being on the on the top.
Ask you this though. I'm
Yeah,
gonna ask you this before we move on. Do you believe that this win is a bit bittersweet?
it is a bit. I do think it is a bit bittersweet because that decision, it really made things for me when it comes to strategic decisions within the team. They haven't really learned a lot from my team, unfortunately, because we've been repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. Listen, the good news is we won a race. I mean,
Yeah,
at
absolutely. No,
least
that's the best
we've
part about
learned
it.
our lesson. That we've learned our lesson from the previous race. That we actually end up not only winning a race, but to score a 1-2 within the team. But at the same time, we haven't learned from shooting ourselves in the foot with our strategies, because again, that's another race where we have to ask a couple of questions within our team, because they
Yeah.
really need to get the strategy right when it comes to Spa, when it comes to the next race in Spa on Sunday, and get it on the nose, and to be concise, and to predict the stops when it's the perfect time to do so. Listen, I understand that the sport is very very difficult to execute with regards to performance, getting the car right on edge, to get right up to speed. But we didn't need that drama towards the end. I mean,
It
again,
was needless, bro. It was
that was
needless.
needless. That was entirely needless.
It was listen, listen.
It made
To
things
put it
juicy.
into perspective, listen. To put it overall, all of that could have been avoided
Yeah.
if the pit stop strategy, the second stint, was better. If they pitted in Piastri first instead of Lando.
And Lando looked frustrated. Listen, he was happy that he got a second place, but listen, he looked frustrated. This dude wants to win a race. He's hungry, as I said in previous episodes, and he's in. Listen, he might be more than 50 points behind Max, but he's in the running for the drivers' championship.
Absolutely,
If
absolutely.
he's scoring consistently
Listen,
on the
in
podium,
reality, listen, bro. In reality, the title fight at the moment is still wide open.
yeah, it is. I
I did
agree.
say this. I did say just earlier that Ferrari's out of the running. But listen, there's still a half a season to go. Anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Anything.
in reality, I do believe that we're out of it. But in reality, anything can happen.
Yeah, I agree
It's still wide open.
because
It's still a wide open race.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Anyways, that's on McLaren. Very, very happy. A lot of points for both drivers in the constructors, and I'm also now very happy that for that I'm very pleased with Oscar Piastri that he's finally got a win. That's now both drivers getting a win this season. This account fought for the last more than the last 5 years, and I am listen. I can't argue with my team at the moment. I mean, we're literally we're literally one of the best, if not the best team on the grid at the moment. The upgrades we're making are astonishing at the moment. I mean, we're on a continuous upwards hill at this stage, and long may it continue. I'm expecting more of the same with Spa, hopefully for the next week, for this weekend, and bring on more podiums, and bring on more. This is something that I didn't really expected at the start of the season, if I'm being honest, but very very happy. Um,
Absolutely.
and that podium was an all McLaren podium because Lewis Hamilton finished third, and that is his 200th
His
podium
200th
in his
podium.
career.
Wow.
Outrageous. And listen, and even with Lewis Hamilton, I'm very happy for him as well, because he deserves it. He's had a very difficult season,
Absolute legend, bro.
and
Absolute
to have a
legend.
race to win the race before and now to get into the podium, he can't complain at the moment. Lewis Hamilton
Absolutely.
at the moment.
Absolutely. No doubt, bro. No doubt.
Um,
Him and Mercedes, to be fair.
yeah, listen, and George Russell, considering he started 17th to finish 8th, big,
Pretty solid
really
recovery.
solid recovery for him to finish in those places. But again, to finish in the top 10 for Mercedes, that's more points in the back for them. Leclerc in fourth, Max Verstappen in fifth, and Carlos Sainz
By
in
the way,
sixth.
I want to get into Leclerc. I want to get into Leclerc. I am so happy
Yeah,
that he finally got a good race
yeah,
after Monaco. I'm
that he got.
very happy because he needed that, bro. He
Who?
really needed that.
Who? Who you're talking?
Leclerc.
Leclerc. Okay, okay. No, he
He
needed
definitely
that.
needed that. After Monaco, he hasn't finished a good. He hasn't had a decent race after Monaco, which is a long fucking time.
No.
So Ferrari had that mini upgrade for him. It paid dividends. He had a very solid race, finishing fourth. Of course, he could have. He was gonna finish fifth, but thanks to Verstappen's silly mistake, he finished fourth,
Yeah,
which was very welcome, by the way.
yeah. I agree. I agree. And Carlos Sainz, no thoughts, I think, on him. You're right, I've been pretty
Actually,
expected.
listen. I did not expect him to drop that low before the start because Sainz actually was faster than Leclerc in quali. Where they finished, Leclerc finished fourth, Sainz in sixth. In quali, they started the other way round. Sainz in fourth and Leclerc in
Yeah,
sixth.
yeah.
So
I,
I did not expect that. He had a pretty solid race. He had a very quiet race, overtaking Alonso in lap 3. But
yeah,
it was pretty solid from him. Yeah. Pretty solid from Carlos Sainz.
yeah. I agree. Elsewhere, Sergio Perez in 7, George Russell in 8, and Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll finishing the top 10. Um, Again, Sergio Perez, 6 points for him, and again, just like George
He had a
Russell,
great recovery.
he made a
Great
great he
recovery.
made a great recovery. But again, this is a
I think what's saving Sergio Perez is his trait of coming back into races.
yeah, I agree.
That's what's saving him.
Yeah,
Because if he doesn't have that, he would have been dropped.
yeah,
He would have been
100%,
dropped.
100%, 100%.
My take on it.
It's a tentative result for him because let's see how he performs in Spa, but he cannot repeat the same mistakes as he's doing. His
I think
future,
if Red Bull are ruthless, bro, I believe Spa-Francorchamps will be his last Red Bull race.
yeah. Who
I
knows?
think it could
Who
be
knows?
his very
Who
last.
knows?
And I fear for that. I fear.
Who knows?
Let's see. Let's see, bro.
Yeah, let's see. Yuki Tsunoda in ninth and Lance Stroll in 10th. Good points for both drivers. Yuki again back in the top 10, and so is Lance Stroll. Maybe 1 point is little on paper, but
Hey,
that's
but every point matters. Every point
every
matters.
point matters. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Outside the points, Fernando Alonso in 11th, Daniel Ricciardo in 12th. Again, both drivers very frustrated to finish outside the points. Especially Daniel Ricciardo wants to get some points this weekend, but unfortunately that hasn't happened to him. Um, Nico Hulkenberg in 13th, Alex Albon in 14th, Kevin Magnussen in 15th, Valtteri Bottas in 16th, Logan Sargent in 17th, Esteban Ocon in 18th, Zhou Guanyu in 19th, and Pierre Gasly in 20th. Alpine shocker of a weekend, definitely.
So what happened to Gasly again? I forgot.
Issue with the car.
Oh,
Issue related with the car, and that was.
is that back to back? Is that back to
I
back?
believe it's back to back. Yeah, and that was the only retirement.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was the only retirement.
That was the only retirement.
I believe that's back to back. I believe that's back to back though.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah. Yeah. It might be back to back. Yeah, but anyhow, that's it for the entire weekend.
I'm gonna go with Oscar Piastri, bro.
I agree. I can't give it to my team as a whole because of that decision. Because if listen,
I'm gonna go with Oscar Piastri
if
though.
they did, if it happened, if the other way around happened with Lando Norris, if Oscar making the pit stop and then Lando doing it afterwards, I would have given it to my team for winners of the day. But I would go with Oscar Piastri for driver of the day. It's well deserved. He deserves this win, and hopefully not the first, not the last. Hopefully it's the first of
What
many
happened?
many many
What
wins.
happened? What happened? What happened with Oscar was he had just so happened to get into the crossfire
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
reality. So in my opinion, driver of the day, Oscar Piastri.
Oscar
That's why I give it
Piastri.
to. Ooh,
That's
I'm gonna go with Verstappen, bro.
I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna go with Verstappen, bro.
I have to go with Max as well because listen, fifth place. That
Not because the fifth place, bro, but how he was acting. He
man.
doesn't. He didn't have to. Yes, the strategy could have been better from Red Bull, but listen, everyone has an off day. How many times have we seen Red Bull get it wrong? Very rarely.
He absolutely lost his head during the race. He showed loads of signs of frustration during the race.
No,
And
that's not the conductor stuff. I can understand the passion, the want to win, the need to win. I get it, but there's ways to go about it, bro.
And
There's ways.
listen, don't be surprised. He gets a penalty next race for his collision with Hamilton because that was his entire fault.
I believe there's no further action on that, bro.
Ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I believe there's no further action on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe.
I don't know, but if there's
But
no
I think
penalty about that,
listen, I can understand why, because he could have got a penalty if there was severe damage and might have costed Hamilton the race. If there's no further action, I can understand that. If it did hinder Hamilton's race, I think that's where they would imply a penalty on Verstappen. That's at least my opinion. That's how I believe.
I would also choose Max for Dick of the Day simply because of that collision with Hamilton and even his frustration
And even his
towards
antics.
and even his frustration towards the team. I would have
His antics, bro. His antics were needless. His antics were needless.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't expect that from someone like him.
No, absolutely.
He showed that he's just a sore loser.
He is. Movie. And my clown of the day is on the same subject of Max Verstappen. Basically, his engineer calling him childish. That was something that I didn't expect it at all, and it
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I did not expect that. It's like he had enough. He had enough of Verstappen that day.
Yeah, I agree.
No, those are my choices, bro. Those
Yeah.
are my choices. 100%.
I agree.
I would like to give a shout out though for driver of the day to Charles Leclerc. I would like to give a shout out to him because he absolutely deserves it after the horrible run that he's been on. No, Oscar Piastri got the award, and rightfully so.
Oh, he's gonna be your
But
pick.
no. My pick is Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
My pick is Oscar Piastri.
All right.
But I'd like to give a shout out to Charles Leclerc.
Okay.
For having a good race at last after Monaco.
Yeah, he deserves that. I agree with that. That was one of my choices as well for my picks. All right. If we look at the standings, Verstappen stays on top with 265 points. Lando Norris at second place. He's now up to 189 points. Charles Leclerc in third with 162 points. Carlos Sainz in fourth with 154 points. Piastri is just a few points behind him with 149 points. Hamilton is in sixth with 125 points. Sergio Perez is now a point behind him. No, actually, Hamilton now has overtaken Sergio Perez for sixth
Sergio
place.
Perez.
Perez is now with 124 points. George Russell in eighth with 116 points. Fernando Alonso in ninth with 45 points, and Lance Stroll, his teammate, is in 10th with 24 points. If we look at the constructors, Red Bull stay on top with 389 points. However, McLaren are on 338 points and catching up on Red Bull very, very quickly with how things are going at the moment. That's a lot of points for McLaren in the bag with a 1-2 finish this weekend. Ferrari are just a few points behind, though, with 322 points. Mercedes in fourth with 241 points. Aston Martin in fifth, 69 points. Racing Bulls in sixth with 33 points. Haas in seventh with 27. Alpine in eighth with 9 points. Williams in ninth with 4 points. And Sauber in 10th with still no points in the bag this season. All right, guys, that is it. That is the end of another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. Thank you so much for those who listen in or watch us from YouTube or watching
Much
us
appreciated always, bro.
Spotify. We really appreciate your support, guys. As always, let us know if you have any feedback. What is to improve this podcast and even your thoughts on each episode. Our next episode is in just a week's time, where we head into Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, one of my favorite tracks, if not my favorite track in the calendar.
Same.
It's a staple.
Absolutely love it.
In the entire sport, one of my favorite tracks, and we're expecting it's also the longest track in the entire calendar. So I'm expecting a very, very exciting race next weekend. And with that, it's farewell.
Thank you so much, guys. Hope you have a good night and a great week ahead of you. Thank you.
Peace.
Deuce.